Hello, folks. Hope you're well. If you are loving the podcast, long-term fan, you've maybe been listening to a few episodes and like it, please make sure that you're subscribing to my Sunday Thoughts email newsletter that I send every Sunday. I give some perspective on self-improvement, and it's just some nice thoughts on a calming day. Also, if you're loving the podcast, I do a paid subscription of 99p a month where you get an extra episode on a Friday, which is a little bit more personal, and obviously a bonus episode, and any exclusive first access to any projects that I'm working on as well. So, if you want to do that, go for it. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Self-Improvement Project. As you listen to this episode today, there is a unique element to it, as I will be somewhere on the west coast of Scotland with no access to any internet or any other contact due to probably being in a cabin for a week. The beauty of this format is that I can record this prior to that. But I hope that even just that idea of being off-grid, remote, disconnected can resonate with you in some shape or form, even mentally, taking yourself away from the noise can definitely have a more positive impact than not. So I hope you are well, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Today's episode is called, Are You Scared of Not Being Busy? So I'm going to repeat that again. Are you scared of not being busy? This idea comes from lots of different themes, including the hedonic cycle of life, especially when we are swamped with lots of commitments, including anything from work to socializing to just obligations that we have. And I'm coming at this from a perspective of that there is another way. You don't have to be busy. Being busy is not the only way that you have to live. And if there's a part of you that feels a twinge almost of something quite not feeling right, it might be because you're fed up or finished with being endlessly demanded of. To set the scene, this is something that is a bit programmed subconsciously within us. We are told to be at certain places at certain times, and when we're there are things that are expected of us, such as concentration, effort, the ability to learn quickly. And by doing this requires almost 100% of our effort. We always have to be on. Personally, this is how society has us set up. The idea of if you're not busy, then there's an element of you being worth less. Not worthless, just worth less than others. There's a bit of competition with it. I'm busier than you. You can easily think of an example of when you've asked someone how they are or what they've been up to, and they just say that they're really busy all the time. But I'd love to hear an example following on from that what is it that they're busy with? Oh, just stuff, just things, just life, all these things. Now, I'm not saying that this is purely bad. I'm just saying that this has been normalized without questioning, without perspective. And it's a bit of the narrative. It's the narrative that has been created that is normalized. There's an element of when you're not busy, the idea that you're not contributing. You're not contributing as much as others. You're not respecting others in that sense. You're not making things fair on others. And look, there are times when I am busy and I am in flow. I am loving it. I am stretched. There's the variety and novelty of things in a positive and in a healthy way. However, I now, from the last few years, experience the power of switching off, of resting, and ultimately having boundaries behind the intention of what I want, or behind the intention behind the decisions that I make. And as much as there's this positive and healthy side of being busy, I would probably argue that 80% of this idea of busy and the hedonic side of things is probably negative. It's probably chronic. It's probably stress. And not even stress in a difficult way. More like stress from you can't escape, you can't stop, you don't know anything else. And this is where it leads to this element of joy. You don't find any joy in living. You stay busy because you don't know how to not be busy. There's an element of being on autopilot. Just glazed eyes going through each day without any thought behind what it is that you're doing, because you're probably capable enough at being busy and chronically being busy that you know no different. You don't know, you want to stop, but you don't know how to. You don't know how to sit with your thoughts and take time to daydream, think, pursue things that are more simple, because you're scared of them, because you don't know how. You maybe need permission. There is no blueprint in how to not be busy. It takes more courage and bravery around the unknown to be able to pursue it. It doesn't click. It doesn't happen in a moment. It is a process. And it's very unique to everybody's individual lives. If you're not prioritizing it, you'll never get to where you want to be. It's like anything in life. Obviously, the other side of this here is that if you do want to be the best in your field, or if you do want to be groundbreaking, innovative, pioneering in whatever it is that you want to do, then this isn't for you. This isn't the option for you to pursue. If you're okay with not being the best that's ever lived, then you need to learn how to not be busy. You need to learn how to switch off. You need to learn how to give yourself self-acceptance behind it being okay that you're not productive, that you're not doing things. You're not going to be the best version of yourself every day. But by resting or being restful, and again, I've done episodes on rest before where this is not bed rest, doing nothing. Rest can come in so many different forms. But by accepting that rest can make you a better version of yourself on other days, when you do need to step up, when you do need to take ownership, when you do need to be accountable, that is a hell of a combination. That is very powerful in not just how you come across and how brilliant you can be, but it's very powerful for your mental health. It's very powerful for that balance. It's very powerful for that wholesomeness, that richness that is involved with living. With this idea of constant chronic effort when you are busy all the time, you remove that richness, you remove that wholesomeness of living. This is where, when we begin to switch away from being busy to doing less, that's why there are moments of existentialism. What's the point? The questioning of yourself and your purpose, because you've never had to face it full on before. You've never had to question it because you've always been so busy. And that's, again, part of the pain that leads to some of the better things in life. If you face up to your existentialism, if you face up to your lack of purpose, you're going to get closer to finding what matters to you, finding the things that bring you joy in life. Usually going back to your roots to find the enthusiasm for the things that you have enjoyed earlier in life as well. What we need to do is we need to find a way to accept mediocrity. That if you're happy with not being the best, or you almost have a bit of a realization of existentialism that you're not willing to sacrifice to be the best, you need to start trying your own form of less. Your own form of less busy. If this is an episode that, as you listen to, you're feeling inspired to take action by, I challenge you to implement this today. What is it that you are currently so busy with that you need to force yourself to do less? You need to force yourself to be less busy. Some terms to encourage you that can guide you, that can be that guiding light towards this type of thinking, is terms such as lightness, leisurely, nourish, sustain. These are all healthy terms that should be connotated with the way that you live. If you feel extremely heavy with the world being a burden on your shoulders, how can you make your life lighter today? If you don't find any part of your life fun at the moment, how can you find a way to be more leisurely? Nourish. Nourishing our soul. Nourish is a good way to think around when you feed your body good nutrition. What can you feed your mind that will help nourish how you feel about yourself, about your life? and sustain. Constant chronic effort is sustainable, but it doesn't lead to happiness. Of course, happiness is elusive. We've been over this, but sustainability has that light feeling to it. It shouldn't require much effort. It shouldn't de-energize you. It shouldn't remove the feelings of energy. Sustainability protects your energy. It allows it to be renewed. You think of that example I was talking about earlier around balancing work with rest. Rest benefits your work, and vice versa. How can you make things sustainable? You might be able to hear some of the rain come on just now, which might add to that lightness feeling as well. But I'm going to wrap there, guys. I'm going to finish up. I've left you with many thoughts around trying to do less. But the big question you need to ask yourself today is, are you scared of not being busy? Otherwise, guys, I will catch up with you when I am back. Thank you, as always, for listening. And I will see you all next time. Cheers. Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that latest episode of the Self-Improvement Project. I can't believe it's been over 3 years and I still absolutely love creating these episodes for you. I'm wanting to share an offer with you before we finish up. I wrote an ebook when I was making this podcast during lockdown, all about becoming unstuck in life and trying to fit that into 30 days. Now, my offer for you today is I have this ebook that I'm reducing down to £5. £5 for you to indulge, create clarity, work on getting out of a rut if that is something that you need to do just now. So check it out in the show notes. If you fancy it, the link will be there. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Cheers.